Hey guys, Brian here with Be Free Productions. Today I want to do a video of a little shootout featuring soft and kind of angelic choirs. A couple months back, or a month or two ago, I did an Epic Choir Shootout with Strezov Storm Choir Ultimate, Performance Samples Oceania. Today I want to do a very soft and intimate choir shootout, focusing on like kind of a church choir sound, but very soft, very beautiful, delicate. We're going to dive right in and check out polyphonic legato, how well they say words, the sustains, as well as the shorts. So let's check it out. Alright guys, so let's dive right in. I'm going to be focusing on Dominus Pro Choir from Fluffy Audio, the Silka Choir from 8dio, and then the Eric Whitacre Choir from Spitfire Audio. Now they each have their own strengths that I really want to focus on. First off, I'm just going to play the same phrase with each of them back to back, and you guys can kind of, choose which one you like out of those three, and then we'll talk about the limitations of each one and look at the different aspects, such as the shorts and the legato and everything. So with these two, the Dominus Pro and the Silka, they're going to be able to say words, and they have polyphonic legato. So that's the first thing you'll notice when I'm playing this phrase, is that the Eric Whitacre Choir is going to be doing a sustain. It's not going to be polyphonic legato, and it's going to be doing either ah or oo or So it's not going to sound the same, but you can hear the overall quality of the samples and what the singers sound like. So let's check it out. Okay, so wow, they all sound absolutely beautiful, but you can hear where each one is going to shine. The first thing you may notice is that while I have the dynamics drawn in down here for the Eric Whitacre Choir and for Dominus Pro, Silka, it's all baked in, meaning as you hold down the keys, It's going to start soft, rise up in dynamics, and then swell back down. You do have some control of that with the mod wheel, but it's not going to stay at one level. So in terms of realism, just out of the box playing, this one's going to sound the best. Just add some reverb and then, just hold down some chords and you get the polyphonic legato and the phrase, and you don't have to mess with the mod wheel. Now, while it may sound better out of the box, it's going to be much, much more limiting compared to the Dominus Pro, especially because you're stuck with these phrases and you're stuck with the dynamic swells. You have no control over that besides, lowering how soft it's going to start and where it will peak. But the overall ratio from loud to soft is always the same in every single one. And you're also stuck with these phrases. So real quick, I'm going to play a little bit from it, with some random chords. You can hear how great it sounds, and it really does give you just an amazing feeling. You hear these angelic voices playing, and like when I first got it, I was absolutely blown away, as you should be, because the demos sound amazing. But while it is very, very good, there are serious limitations when it comes to writing with the Silka Choir. Just keep that in mind. Honest opinion, great stuff. Not nearly as versatile or as amazing as it first seems when you first play it. So one thing to notice is, like, you hear I really have to hold down those keys for a long time for that final fade out to happen, or if there's a consonant at the end of the phrase, it won't trigger unless you hold them down completely. That's why you see this phrase was written for Silka, meaning that in reality, I may want this to be more on beat. I just want it to be 4 bars and then move on to the next one. I had to hold the notes down sometimes past that and give it a little bit of room to breathe, because it doesn't flow quite as well when you want everything quantized on beat. So keep that in mind again. And also, these are your phrases that they were kind of cycling through. They sound amazing. You're not going to get something quite as realistic as the natural dynamic swell. The polyphonic legato sounds amazing, but to me it's worth it to sacrifice just a little bit of realism to have more versatility, which is where Dominus Pro comes in. So a lot of the the aspects of the library is the same. Meaning you can play the phrases. It has polyphonic legato, which to me is huge and really necessary for a choir to get that really realistic, beautiful, flowing sound for a soft choir like this. Now, the amount of phrases here it blows away the amount of phrases in Silka. As you can see, these are just preset phrases. If you go in and actually hit this, you can get pretty much any syllable you can think of, and you can string together your own phrases, put them in the sequencer, just like this. You can make whatever you want. It's pretty insane, and the quality doesn't suffer. That is pretty that blew me away, honestly. So we'll go in and kind of play with Dominus Pro and hear what that sounds like. The only drawback between this and Silka is Dominus, you're going to have to control the dynamics with your mod wheel, which most of us are used to doing anyway. So it's an easy sacrifice for me personally to get, the way more content and a much more versatile choir. So if you want to just have a sustain, like the Eric Whitacre choir just has those sustains, the ah, oo, e, those kind of typical, syllable vowels that we usually get with most choirs. All you gotta do is pick just one syllable, and there you have it. So that will perform like a regular choir with just sustains. Where Silka will not, no matter what. Silka is always going to be baked in with these kind of phrases and swells, and if you want just one sustaining note, the same dynamics, just one vowel, you won't get that in Silka, which was honestly pretty disappointing for a $600 choir. Dominus isn't perfect though. You can hear sometimes there's a bit of a gap between when I'm using a phrase, between the two phrases when I'm switching. Sometimes there's a little bit of a gap, and the polyphonic legato may not be quite as fluid, but it's something I'm willing to accept. They all have their drawbacks, but when it comes to the phrases, I think Dominus and the versatility, the selection, the features is absolutely top of the game for a soft choir. Now, Eric Whitacre choir, again, a bit of a disappointment, just because when we have a few choirs, the Strezov choirs, the 8dio choirs, Audio Bro Genesis, all these choirs were coming out that had polyphonic legato, and it was a game changer. And then for Spitfire Audio to release this choir, all this hype, it's amazing. While I have negative things to say about each of these products, none of them are bad whatsoever, so don't take it like that. But the fact that Spitfire Audio released this choir and had no polyphonic legato, when we for years had been getting choirs that had it, pretty disappointed, to be quite honest. But again, this has far more in terms of content and articulations. So they have their kind of evos that Spitfire's known for, the long notes, which are kind of evolving. Really, really good stuff. So for long notes in the background, for anything that doesn't require realistic syllables and phrases. They do have a bit of those, but like the way they sing, like the breathy, bubbling, that there's all kinds of stuff and chords and kind of arpeggio type sounds and everything, dynamic swells. There's a ton of stuff here. So all I really used was the so it sounds like they're humming. But let's check this one out a bit, scroll through a little bit of these, because I think, to be fair, we have to explore some of the other content in the Eric Whitacre choir. It's not going to be, this is definitely the low tier for if you want something realistic, saying syllables and phrases, but the quality and the amount of articulations that aren't saying phrases is far superior. So let's check it out a little bit. So to be honest, this is not where this library shines, and it can sound kind of synthy, to be honest. Some of those don't sound nearly as realistic. So I can understand why people were disappointed. I was pretty disappointed when I first got it as well. And then once I started exploring like all the different articulations, I realized why it's priced the way it is, and why someone would love it. Just the thing is, make sure that you need it. If you want just a standard choir that's going to cover more ground, Dominus Pro is way better in my honest opinion. So this is really more of your like niche articulations, kind of like Hans Zimmer strings. It's if you need an all-in-one string library, an all-in-one choir library, don't get it. If you want it and you need this, it's a luxury product. There's a lot of great stuff in it, but it's not essential. Let's go through a little bit more of the different articulations, just to give you an idea of all that it does contain. So you can see it has, a lot of more unique articulations, but to be quite honest, I don't use them. And there's a lot of kind of fluff. I think that's kind of what Spitfire does. They want to be the definitive collection and give you more content, but there's a lot of stuff that people just won't use. A lot of people won't use it. and a lot of people will. So it's up to you to decide. But there it is. Now let's go to the legato. I actually think Eric Whitacre Choir has probably the best monophonic legato out of all of these. So let's check that out a bit. Let's start with Silka, and we'll go through. Some of those syllables sound really good. Some of them I don't like so much. Let's check out the Dominus monophonic legato. So the dynamic range is not nearly as, it doesn't go as loud as the Silka legato, but I think the Silka legato, that's where it starts to fall apart when it gets in the louder dynamics, and so Dominus sounds very nice in the lower dynamics there. It says goes up to forte. I don't know how true that is, but it sounds very nice. Eric Whitacre Choir legato. Let's check that out. Sounds very nice. I love the transitions there. I think while I do have high praise for the Dominus, you can hear it there, especially in monophonic legato mode. The flow, the transition between those two notes aren't always nearly as smooth as they should be, and I think it gets away with it with the polyphonic legato. But sometimes it falls a bit short in the monophonic legato, especially compared. The Silka legato transitions were very good, but I think the Eric Whitacre Choir is even better as far as transitions go. But again, just something about that with the Eric Whitacre that just sounds synthy to me, and I don't think it has to do with the quality of samples. I think it's just has to do with that's not how you're supposed to write for a choir. But anyway, the mic positions are also kind of crazy with the Eric Whitacre, so I'm just using default mic positions as well. Let's go to the shorts. So we have Dominus Pro shorts here. go to the Eric Whitacre Choir shorts. The Silka shorts aren't the same. We'll get to that in a minute. So again, Eric Whitacre Choir not going to have those the syllables and the consonants and the vowels, but you can key switch between oo, and o. So keep that in mind. I'm just going to use the but you can key switch between the different vowels if you choose to. So those do sound very nice. Like I think the shorts sound a bit better. Like for the I think the sounds quite a bit better than the long because it does get to start to sound synthy when you hold that long note down. But especially those really breathy, airy shorts, and I think that's where the Eric Whitacre is going to shine is those more unique articulations. It's smaller, more angelic sounding. And I really like the sound of that soft, short, breathy with the short. Sounds fantastic. Now, Silka shorts, there are no shorts, which is, again, something that disappointed me with Silka. It's $600. So they really, the selling point there is the arcs. Just like with Dominus, the selling point is the phrases and the polyphonic legato. But at least, Dominus Pro has shorts and marcatos and stuff like that, and you can do monophonic, legato, just one dynamics, or, without the dynamic swell. So this one is going to have fast, repeated staccato type sounds, and they sound like this. So I get what they're trying to do here, and it's okay, but it's not, again, not nearly as flexible. You're kind of stuck with what they give you, what they've recorded, as opposed to really be able to make it your own and adapt it to whatever song you want to use. So it's not always on beat. I've noticed that when you play along with their metronome, the first note is, but it's a sequence, a series of notes, and it starts to fall slightly out of sync as you play it. So I've never used these, and at the end I was playing at double speed, so that's why it kind of was more machine gun sounding. It's not meant, you can play it at double speed, it's not meant to. So yeah, final thoughts on all three of these choirs. Again, I've critiqued all of them. I've really especially critiqued the Eric Whitacre and the Silka choir, but they're very good for what they want to do. The thing with Eric Whitacre choir, I don't know if it knows exactly what it wants to do, because it tries to do everything and falls a bit flat, especially the fact it doesn't have polyphonic legato. I know I keep mentioning that, but I mean, that was truly a big letdown for me. But I think this is going to excel for a more unique sound, for the amount of articulations and styles and things that they give you. But please watch the in-depth walkthroughs, demos, and make sure you need it before you buy it. So Dominus Pro, I love this one. I really loved Silka when I started playing it, but this one to me is the pinnacle of that concept because of the way you can play any phrase, any syllable, that you can link them all together and it flows so nicely. Where this one doesn't do as well is with the monophonic legato. The transitions between those, and sometimes with the polyphonic legato, are not always as good. But I think that's kind of to be expected because there's just so much you can do with it, so many syllables that you can use. So some of them do not really flow together as well as you would have liked. So Silka is going to be the best right out of the box, but not as versatile, not nearly as versatile as Dominus Pro. It's not going to have shorts, it's not going to have standard vowel sustains, none of that, which for a $600 choir, honestly, that pissed me off when I bought it. Again, 8dio is a great company. I love them as a company, but this product at the price they're asking is a bit lacking. The arcs, however, are amazing. They can bring a tear to your eye. They're beautiful, but again, you're stuck with those dynamic swells. That's why I say it'll probably be the best out of the box. You just hold it and play, but after you get over that initial rush of being like, holy shit, this sounds amazing, you're going to realize I probably want a choir that's more versatile, which I think the winner here, in my opinion, sound, features, versatility, Dominus Pro by a landslide. I think Eric Whitacre is probably 8dio and Silka, I guess. 8dio Silka and Eric Whitacre, I would say they're tied depending on what you want to do with it. Just because Silka has the beautiful phrases, but it won't have sustains. Eric Whitacre has sustains, but it won't have beautiful phrases. Way more articulations though in Eric Whitacre. So there it is, a rundown, an honest rundown. You know, I don't bullshit you guys. And again, while I critique all of these libraries, they are great. They're all very good products. They put a lot of work into all of them, but you have to be an honest person and compare them with each other. And since I have Dominus Pro, the other two I don't use them. Simply because when I want that soft angelic sound, I want them to sing phrases, I want it to be soft and flowing, and I want to have control over what they're saying and what the dynamics are. And Dominus Pro gives me all of that, where the other two are lacking. So it's up to you. You hear them, you go to the page, listen to their own demos and stuff like that. But that is an honest opinion from a user that has all three and has used them all extensively. All of them great, but Dominus Pro is easily the winner by a pretty large margin, in my honest opinion. So let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment. I want to hear from you. You know, I know a lot of you may have one of these. If you saw something I missed and you think it's an amazing feature, just, you know, comment below. I try to be as fair as possible with all of these. So thanks so much, guys. Remember to please subscribe to my channel. I really could use the support. I'm very passionate about this music stuff, and I love to share it with you guys. If there's anything you want to see, if you want to hear it compared, if you want to see more shootouts, whatever, let me know. Leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support me, hit the like button, share it, whatever you want to do. Thanks so much, guys. I will see you next time.